Colder weather is on the way for New Zealand. Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Friday weather update, recorded on May the 24th. We've got 1 week left of the month of May, and then it's officially winter on the meteorological calendar. And the weather forecast coming up, this map kind of paints the picture of the next 7 days. A lot of south to southwesterly winds coming into the country and dropping our temperatures. This is 6 o'clock this evening, and the area in blue there basically feels like it's around freezing. So this is the beginning of a much colder week on the way, and the low out to the east still messy, mostly only affecting the Chatham Islands, but it's still a little bit windy, places like Mahia Peninsula, and still that southerly flow going straight into Wellington. Frost risk tonight, mostly inland, sheltered areas, places like central Otago, Mackenzie country, that part of the country. Further to the north, not much of a risk, a little bit here through the mountains and ranges and the plateau, but the North Island's just got a little bit more cloud and wind around. Now let's have a look at Saturday itself. So yeah, the risk of a frost in those inland sheltered areas, same story down here. Southland itself though, more exposed to showers coming off the Southern Ocean, and there may even be a light dusting of snow on the hills and ranges there. The temperatures are certainly going to be down this weekend in places like Invercargill, Queenstown and Dunedin. And it's not going to be necessarily a lot warmer around most of the country, but, northern areas, places like Nelson and Bay of Plenty, not really so badly affected by this sort of airflow. So there could still be a fair amount of sunny weather around as we go through the weekend. But you can see storms down here in the Southern Ocean, high pressure parked in the southeastern corner of Australia. So the squash zone is right here over New Zealand, and the wintry stuff really out here to the east of that blue line. On the other side of it, the airflow, if you track the origins, it's actually coming out of the high pressure zone, not from Antarctica. So by Monday, still cold around the country, especially in the lower South Island, and showers carry on, mostly on the western and southern parts of both islands. That's where you'll see them. Won't be a huge amount, but the odd one can be a little bit heavy sometimes when you've got a setup like this. Now, next week is quite messy. The high remains over here in Australia, but it's trying to come in to the north of New Zealand. And so that brings in this windy westerly. So some areas might have a nor'wester for a time as we go into next week. Westerlies are back and not so much of the southerly until we get to Wednesday. And that's when possibly an area of low pressure forming around the country. And so that just makes it a little more energetic. You see these cold fronts coming up, could be a few thundery or squally showers in those. Might even get a little bit of hail this week, or into next week, I should say, with this sort of setup. And then as we get to Thursday, the low goes out to the east, a bit like the one we've got at the moment, strange shape to it, brings in a few showers and a windy south to southeasterly for the northeastern corner of the North Island. Mostly sunny in inland areas, and then to the south here, you might even warm up a little bit because the windy westerlies out of Tasmania come across for you. And so by Friday of next week, it's going to feel like we're in autumn because high pressure is to the north and low pressure to the south, windy westerlies carrying through. There could be gale around Cook Strait, maybe through the mountains and inland parts of the Canterbury Plains. And then in the lower part of the South Island, around Southland, Fiordland and Otago, it could be more wintry as a result of the southwesterly coming in out of the Southern Ocean. So a few moving parts to our weather in the next week. This is the rain map for the next 7 days coming up. So rainfall totals are down, and these areas in the blue, and especially in the pale blue, that's the bottom of the chart. So it's a typical westerly setup where these eastern and northeastern areas are kind of dry, but westerners, you've got the showers. Auckland, Northland, places like Dargaville getting some heavy showers here and there, Waitomo, Waikato, Taranaki, into Wanganui, and then down, of course, the west coast and around into Southland. So that is the rainfall for the next 7 days. Not a huge amount, but plenty of showers, and they will start to stack up for some of you, especially around the west. That's all from me. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you again on Monday.